No question. Regulators, at least in the U.S., are increasingly focused, and I would say paranoid about this issue.
It behooves the banks as good corporate citizens to be mitigating risk, but also we all have a role. Now, obviously, trade finance and banks have an interest in mitigating their own risk to their institution, their reputational risk. So I think it all comes into play and it's a collective effort.
There's a difference between trade finance and trade-based money laundering. They often get confused, and we think that's a very important issue. If we look at the universe of trade finance, we say it's 100%, only 20% of that is documentary trade. And that means that 80% is open account trade, and it's much more difficult or almost impossible for a trade finance banker to see what's going on because they don't have any documents to show what the issues are, to raise the issues, to look at the red flags.
The banks are potentially unfairly burdened with the obligation to actually do the investigations and identify money laundering, right? Or potential terrorist financing, which in many instances we have limited information, right? But I guess it's convenient for the banks to be burdened with this because we're doing it for sanction screening and in other areas. Why isn't it the importer or exporters, right? Why isn't it on the shipping company to have to file a SARS, or in Canada it's a suspicious transaction report? There should be more obligation on other parties to the trade transaction. There is a database that Customs uses, but the problem is they don't force mandatory details down to, let's say, the grade of the product, and that's the part of the problem. So it's like, you can't get accurate pricing, for example, if you don't have that kind of level of detail. And even on bills of lading that we see today, we don't have necessarily enough information, and you have to go back to the shipper and you have to ask for more information and more details. Will it improve in the future? I don't know. I don't see it changing much in the next 5 years.
It would involve the customs departments ramping up their requirements, which they don't like to do, and it would involve increased inspections.
There's so much to do, but I think it really needs help from the regulators and from the legislators to encourage the public-private sector dialogue. And some jurisdictions have actually looked at doing that, and it's been quite successful.